Welcome to Chatting the Pictures. My name is Kara Finnegan, and I'm a writer, teacher, and historian of photography.
And I'm Michael Shaw. I'm a writer, a psychologist, and also publisher of Reading the Pictures.
In the face of existential threat, we rely on the creativity of artists to bring reality home to us.
This portrait is part of a series called Sink Rise by photographer Nick Brandt, published by CNN on November 4, 2023. The images, which Brandt describes as pre-apocalyptic, feature South Pacific Islanders underwater, symbolizing the future loss of their homes, lands, and livelihoods due to climate change. The process of capturing these images mirrors that adversity, involving dive training, breath holding, and the construction of scenes. Despite contributing only a small percentage of global greenhouse gas emissions, Pacific islands like Fiji face the risk of complete submersion.
It's very easy to get caught up in the technical feat of Brandt's project, which is truly incredible. But I think we also need to pay attention not just to how he did it, but to what he's inviting us to see. This is a compelling project that activates so many metaphors. One's imploring viewers to not only recognize, but choose to do something about climate change. First, there's the overarching metaphor of literally being underwater, drowning, perhaps. These images really picture the idea that we are on Earth are drowning literally and figuratively. The world is at risk. We have rising seas. The implicit idea here is that climate change is going to drown us all. And the title of the project, Sink Rise, really gets at this as well. That could be interpreted as failing to do anything on climate change. But there's also the sense that perhaps we on Earth could ourselves rise to the occasion and perhaps embrace a different future, one that avoids the inevitable.
The series not only combines portraiture with landscape photography, it's also an interesting confounding of the still life and the comforts of domesticity. The portraits are clearly a plea for action and a call for engagement and dialogue.
I keep looking at that open seat at the table across from the woman. And in some ways, the photograph seems to be inviting the viewer to consider taking a seat at the table. Who will join this woman at the table to solve these problems? She seems to be waiting for someone to join her. And the models for these images, the woman pictured here, along with many others featured in the other images, also function metaphorically as kind of every woman or every man characters. They're dressed in regular, casual clothes. They don't seem to be styled or made up in any particular way. You see people dressed in t-shirts, shorts, simple clothing, casual clothing, and they're barefoot. This image of the everyman or every woman really highlights, I think, part of Brandt's argument that the folks pictured here are not necessarily part of the problem, but they need a solution. Brandt's using a mix of older people and younger people in these images, including one father and son who pose together. Brandt is juxtaposing people in ways that invite the viewer to think about climate crisis and the future, or perhaps lack of a future.
In a setting associated with gatherings, as you were talking about, the solitary presence can also represent the isolation of small nations from the global conversation. In that context, the way the woman sits forward with her hands clasped, characteristic of engagement, only drives home the irony. But lest you feel that all is lost and Brandt's project is that catastrophic, the woman's composure and also that long gaze convey a deep contemplation, determination, and resilience. Those qualities are extremely important, both in this work and in the threat we face.